This is a short video just showing some pumpkin seeds that have been harvested.
How do you harvest pumpkin seeds?
Well, funny you ask. The way you harvest pumpkin seeds is that after your pumpkin has come nice and ripe, you slice it open here. You can see here I've cut the top off of the pumpkin, and if you were making it for a jack-o'-lantern, you could cut out your design, and you scoop out all of the pulp, which has the seeds, of course, in there as well.
Which smells like vomit.
If you let it rot, it could smell really bad, but that's not what you do. You scoop them on out.
But when do you harvest them?
Well, good question. The time to harvest the pumpkin seeds is probably whenever it is that you're cutting open your pumpkin. Hopefully you haven't let it go so far that it's rotting. Basically, whenever you were cutting it open to make a jack-o'-lantern, or at the end of the season if you were getting rid of it, if it's not too rotten, you could take that time to cut it on open and pull out your seeds along with the pulp.
But what do you do with the seeds after you scoop them out?
After you scoop the seeds out, well, what you do with them is you wash them off because they're going to have lots of pulp on them. So you basically, one of the things I've done is just put them into a strainer, and from the strainer I put seeds in there along with the pulp, and I run water over it, and I pull off all of the bits of pulp from the pumpkin plant, from the inside of the pumpkin, so that I've got just the seeds.
Well, how do you store the seeds?
Well, good question about storing the seeds, which is, in this case, I put them on this screen, and I actually put another screen on top of it, and I let the sun go on them, or you put them someplace where they can get air, because after you have them really well cleaned off, what you want to do is make sure that they get nice and dry. Extremely important is that you do not store your pumpkin seeds while they're wet, because if you store them while they're wet over the winter, they'll get mildew and mold and all kinds of other things in them that will make for problems when you're trying to use them for planting. So some people recommend that you even let them dry out for weeks before you store them. And then you store them for the winter. You store them in the winter in a place that is nice and dry, maybe inside a dry paper bag or something like that. And then in the spring, you're ready to plant them so that you can grow more pumpkins.